Hi, boys and girls. It's Read Aloud time. The book that I have for you today is called How Rocket Learned to Read. I love this story. It's one of my favorites. And in the story, you are going to be able to make a lot of connections with Rocket because of the way that he learns how to read in the book. It's the way that you have learned how to read. So look out for the ways that Rocket learned in the book and see if that reminds you of things that you have learned at school. Okay, here we go. How Rocket Learned to Read by Tad Hills. Rocket loved to play. He loved to chase leaves and chew sticks. He loved to listen to the birds sing. Every fall morning after chasing leaves, Rocket would lie down in his favorite spot under his favorite tree. There he'd sniff the neighborhood smells and settle in for a good nap. But one day, a little yellow bird startled Rocket. "Aha! My first student! Wonderful!" she sang. Rocket was confused. "Student? I'm not a—" "But if I am your teacher," the bird interrupted, "then you must be my student." Rocket found it hard to argue with this bird. "I am so glad you saw my sign," the bird chirped. "Oh, yes, I can see it," Rocket said, "but I don't know how to read." "Can't read? Fantastic!" She waved a wing. "Welcome to my classroom." "But I just came here to nap," Rocket said. No, there will be no napping in class," declared the bird, "except, of course, during nap time." "Well, then I can take a nap over here," said Rocket. "I've had a very busy morning." "Not to worry. I'll be around every day," chirped the bird, "until the weather turns." As Rocket breathed in the crisp air, the little yellow bird hung her banner. "Ah, the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet," she marveled, "where it all begins." Opening up a book, the bird began to read. She sang out the story of an unlucky dog named Buster who'd lost his favorite bone. He might be interested in that story. A cool breeze carried her lively voice across the yard. At first, Rocket was disturbed. But before long, he found himself captivated. To Rocket, the story was as delicious as the earthy smells of fall. It was as exciting as chasing leaves. He closed his eyes and listened to every word. As Buster dug and dug under the lilac bush, the bird read, "He felt something familiar." Rocket waited. Was it a bone? He wondered. Silence. "Was it a bone?" he called to the bird. More silence. "Was it the bone?" Rocket hollered. Suddenly, he was rushing to the tree. "Well, was it?" But the little yellow bird was gone. So Rocket is really anxious to find out what happened in the story. He's intrigued. He wants to know. He's curious. The next morning, Rocket arrived early. At last, the little yellow bird appeared. "Hello! How wonderful to see you in class," she chirped. "I can tell by your waggy tail that you are well rested." "I'd like to hear the end of the story, please," said Rocket. "That seems like a fine way to start the day," chirped the bird. She gave Rocket a name tag and began to read. Every day, Rocket returned to the little bird's classroom. In the morning, the bird taught him a new letter until he had learned all of the wondrous, mighty, gorgeous alphabet. Together, they sang out the sounds that each letter makes and spelled the sounds that they heard around them. With a G and many R's, they spelled Mr. Barker's growl. Grrr. They spelled the sound of the wind, which was growing colder by the day. Whoosh. Soon they were spelling words like F-A-L-L, fall, for the gusty time of year, and R-E-D, red, for the color of the leaves. And each afternoon, the bird read a story. She read stories about dogs and birds. She read about leaves changing colors and about birds flying south for the winter. Then one day the weather turned and the letter banner disappeared. See you again in the glorious spring, the bird sang. And as she flew into the wintry sky, she called, Don't forget, words are built one letter at a time. The days grew shorter and the leaves fell from the trees. So what season do you see now? Fall is over and now it's winter. The grass became crunchy. Soon Rocket's classroom disappeared under the snow. He remembered the little yellow bird's alphabet and practiced his letters. So even in the snow, he was able to practice his letters. Makes me think of flour or sand. Maybe you guys can get some flour and put it on a tray and practice your letters like this. Pretend it's snow. Rocket thought about the bird's sweet chirp while he sounded out words like D-I-G, dig, and W-I-N-D, wind, and C-O-L-D, cold. He made new friends and spelled their names. Hello, E-M-M-A, Emma. Hi there, F-R-E-D, Fred. He spelled everything. S-U-N, sun. M-E-L-T, melt. When Rocket spelled M-U-D, mud, he knew that spring, as it always does, had returned. The breeze blew warmer, the grass grew greener, and a sign appeared. There it is. Class starts tomorrow. Who's coming back? Early the next morning, Rocket rushed to his classroom. As he waited, he spelled W-A-G. W-A-G. What word is that? Wag. Why do you think he spelled wag? What do dogs do when they're excited? They wag their tail, right? So he's excited and he spelled the word wag. Soon, the little yellow bird arrived. Aha, my star student, she sang. How wonderful to see you. I can tell by your waggy tail that you are ready for class. Welcome back, Rocket. Then together they began to read. They read stories about birds flying north in the spring. They read about picnics in the warm sun. And they read about Buster, the lucky dog who found his bone under the lilac bush. That's now an old favorite, right? And when they were done, they read it again and again and A-G-A-I-N again. The end. So that book reminds me so much of all the work that we've done in school with reading and storytelling and word making, writing and spelling. So here is a little activity for you that I want you to do. There are so many different things we can talk about in this story and so many different activities we can do connected to the story. So the first activity that I want to do attached to this read aloud is a labeling activity. I want you to be just like Rocket, okay? And I want you to try and spell as many words as you can. They can be weather words, they can be food words, snack words, toy words, names of your family members. What Rocket did was he heard the sounds in the word and he pulled those letters from the alphabet and he put them together to make words. He wrote down what he heard. Another way that you can be just like Rocket and spell as much as you can is something really, really fun that I love to do, especially now that I'm home and now that you're home. It's called labeling around the house. And the way that you can do this is you can get index cards, just pieces of paper that you tear up into little rectangles or squares. You can use pieces of paper bags that maybe you have from the supermarket or from Trader Joe's, okay, and cut that up if you don't have paper at home, okay? And you are going to use these labels, and if you have tape at home, you can use that too. And you are going to label things around your house, anything you can, okay? And then I want to see pictures of your labels. So you can label the wall, the light, the doorknob, your bed, the kitchen, the refrigerator, the counter, the table, the chair, books, bookshelves. You can label anything, okay? So I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see my little board here. And you are going to sort of work with me, and we're going to make a couple labels together. I'm going to show you how you can do it, okay? So I'm going to think of something I can label in my room. And one thing I see behind me is a wall, okay? So we are going to label the wall. Now, the way I'm going to do it is the way Rocket did it. He used the letters of the alphabet. And I have the alphabet chart, and I like to have the alphabet chart around whenever I'm spelling because it helps me remember what different letters or the sounds that the different letters make, okay? So if you have your alphabet chart, you might want to keep it with you while you're labeling, okay? So I'm going to make the word wall and just write down the sounds that I hear. W, 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 w. I'm going to put here w, 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 ah, w, w, w. Wall. There's the word wall. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my label. There it is. And I'm going to take a piece of tape. And I'm going to tape it on the wall. And now my wall is labeled. And everybody who walks in my house will know that that's a wall and those are the sounds that I heard in the word wall. So is there anything else I can label where I am right now? I'm realizing that there is, if you can see it, there's a window behind me. So you know what? I'm going to label the window. Let's get another piece of paper, okay? I'm going to turn this so you can see. And now we are going to stretch out the word window. Window has lots of sounds in it. I hope you guys are up for the challenge. Here we go. Window. W, w, w. Make sure we stretch those vowels out. Wind. Wind. D, d, d. Window. O. Window. That's the word window. And now I'm going to take the label off. Here it is. I'm going to get my tape and I'm going to tape it on my window. And now let's see if you can see my label. There it is, window. So those are just two examples of things that you can label in your house. If you don't have tape, that's okay. You can just write the labels on cards and you can keep the cards maybe in a little baggie or in a little place in your house, and whenever you want, you can then just read the words and read the cards, okay? But I just want to see you spelling as many words as you can, just like Rocket, okay? And after you're done, please send me a picture of some of the labels that you've labeled around your house, okay? I love you guys. Bye. Have fun labeling.